Anytime had always been the strong one in her family, but her world turned upside down the day her ex-husband, Michael, filed for joint custody of their son, Junior, in the court. She had been the sole parent, raising Junior with love and stability, but now Michael wanted more. It wasn't just about visitation rights, it was about power and control, and Anytime wasn't sure how to fight back. Michael's sudden reappearance in Junior's life stirred confusion and unease in the young boy. He was used to living with his mother, and now there was a looming threat of change. Every conversation with Michael was filled with promises of being a better father, but Anytime wasn't convinced. She had seen how unreliable he could be in the past, and she wasn't ready to let him disrupt Junior's life. The first few meetings with the family lawyer were tense. Anytime wanted to protect Junior, but she didn't know where to begin. The lawyer explained the custody process and how the court would decide based on the child's best interest. "We will need evidence of his consistency," the lawyer said. "We need to show that Junior's stability matters more than Michael's wish for control." Michael continued to press for more time with Junior, but Anytime wasn't ready to back down. She prepared for the battle ahead, gathering documents, talking to people who knew Michael's past behavior, and focusing on what mattered most, Junior's well-being. But even as she built her case, she couldn't help but worry about the impact all of this would have on her son. One evening, as Anytime tucked Junior into bed, he looked up at her with wide, confused eyes. "Mom, why do we keep going to court? What are they trying to do?" Anytime's heart broke at the question. She didn't want to burden him with the complexities of the situation, but she knew she had to explain in a way he could understand. "Sometimes adults don't agree on what's best for you," she said softly. "But we are doing everything we can to make sure you're safe and happy." Junior nodded slowly, but the sadness in his eyes lingered. Anytime kissed his forehead and left the room, her own emotions tangled with guilt and anger. This wasn't how she wanted Junior to grow up. She never imagined that the love she had for her son would lead to such a bitter legal battle. As Anytime prepared for the next hearing, memories of her marriage to Michael resurfaced. They had started out in love, full of dreams. But after Junior was born, Michael became distant, buried in work and other distractions. Small disagreements turned into constant arguments. Despite their efforts at counseling, nothing improved, and when Junior was 3, they decided to divorce. The process was bitter, with Michael fighting the proceedings. Ultimately, Anytime gained primary custody, but Michael's promises to visit regularly faded. Now, years later, his sudden push for joint custody felt like reopening an old wound, and she feared Junior would be caught in the middle again. The days that followed were a blur of meetings, phone calls, and court dates. Anytime was exhausted, but she couldn't afford to show weakness. She had to keep fighting for Junior. It wasn't just about the court's decision, it was about protecting him from the emotional chaos that was brewing. Every time Michael pushed for more time with Junior, it felt like another piece of their family was being torn apart. The first hearing was a challenge. Michael's lawyer was smooth-talking and aggressive, making it seem like Anytime was an unfit mother who was trying to alienate Junior from his father. Anytime's lawyer countered with facts, how Michael had been absent during the most crucial moments of Junior's life, how Anytime had been the constant, loving presence. Still, Michael's accusations hung in the air, leaving Anytime feeling vulnerable and unsure. When the judge adjourned the hearing, Anytime's lawyer assured her that they had a strong case. "It's not about who's the better parent," he said. "It's about who can provide the most stable environment for Junior. And right now, that's you." Anytime tried to hold on to those words, but they didn't erase the worry that kept her up at night. Would the judge see things the way they did? Would Junior's future really be in their hands? The days between the hearings dragged on. Anytime kept her routine as normal as possible for Junior, but the tension was always there. He seemed quieter lately, withdrawn in ways that worried her. One night, as they sat down for dinner, Junior suddenly asked, "Mom, when will all of this be over? Why is it so hard?" Anita didn't have an easy answer. "I don't know, baby," she said softly, "but we'll get through it together. I promise you, everything will be okay." It was a few weeks later when the court issued a temporary ruling. The judge decided that Junior would continue to live primarily with Anita, with limited visitation from Michael. The ruling wasn't perfect, but it was a relief. For now, Junior would stay in the home he knew, with the stability he needed. Anita felt a weight lift off her shoulders, but she knew it wasn't over. Michael wasn't going to give up so easily. Junior didn't fully understand the complexities of the situation, but he was happy to hear that he wouldn't be uprooted from his life. When Anita told him the news, his eyes brightened. "Does that mean I get to stay with you more?" he asked. Anita smiled and nodded, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Michael would continue to fight for more control. This battle was far from over. Over the next few weeks, Anita focused on providing Junior with as much normalcy as possible. They spent weekends at the park, watched movies together, and shared quiet evenings at home. The constant court dates and emotional stress seemed to fade into the background, and for a while, they were able to find peace. But Michael had other plans. Anita's lawyer contacted her one day with more bad news. Michael had filed yet another motion to change the visitation schedule. This time, he claimed that the current arrangement was interfering with Junior's extracurricular activities. Anita was furious. It felt like Michael was using any excuse to drag them back into the court system. But she couldn't back down. She had to protect Junior. When the next hearing came, Michael's lawyer tried to argue that Junior needed more time with his father for his development. Anita's lawyer responded with evidence that Junior was thriving with the current arrangement. It wasn't about who spent more time with Junior, it was about who could provide him with the consistency and love he needed. The judge seemed to agree, and the ruling came down in Anita's favor once again. Michael wasn't pleased with the outcome, but Anita knew this fight wasn't over. He would continue to challenge the court's decisions, hoping to wear her down. But Anita was determined to keep Junior safe from the emotional strain. She focused on what mattered most, Junior's happiness and well-being. Weeks passed, and Anita started to see a change in Junior. He was more relaxed and less burdened by the ongoing custody battle. He was excelling in school, making new friends, and smiling more. Anita continued to take care of herself as well. She returned to her work and even began to reconnect with old friends. Life, though far from perfect, was beginning to feel normal again. One day, as Anita was picking Junior up from school, one of his teachers approached her. "I just wanted to let you know how well Junior is doing," the teacher said. "He's focused, he participates more, and he seems happier." Anita felt a lump form in her throat. "Thank you," she said quietly. It wasn't much, but it was a sign that things were improving. As Junior and Anita spent more time together, Junior began to open up more about his feelings. "Mom," he said one evening, "I think I understand now. You've always been there for me, and that's all that matters." Anita smiled, her heart full of love. "That's right, sweetheart," she said, kissing him on the forehead. "We'll always be a family, no matter what." Months passed, and the court battle became a distant memory. Michael still tried to intervene occasionally, but Anita remained firm in her resolve. She had won the most important battle, keeping Junior in a stable and loving environment. Junior, now flourishing, had a brighter future ahead, and Anita knew that no matter what challenges came their way, they could face them together. One evening, Michael called Anita unexpectedly. "I've been thinking," he said, his tone softer than before. "Maybe it's time we start working together for Junior's sake. I've realized I haven't been there like I should have." Enitan was taken aback by his words but remained cautious. "We can work together if you're truly committed," she replied. In the following weeks, Michael made good on his promise. He became more involved in Junior's life, though he respected Enitan's boundaries. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Junior began to adjust to the changes in his father's behavior, and Enitan found herself cautiously optimistic. Maybe, just maybe, they could work together for their son's well-being. Life slowly returned to normal. Junior excelled in school, spending weekends with both parents, though still living with Enitan. Michael's presence in his life was steady, though never overwhelming. Junior was happy, and Enitan had her peace. She was proud of how far they had come. One evening, as Enitan tucked Junior into bed, he whispered, "Mom, I think I want to be a lawyer when I grow up." Enitan smiled and kissed his forehead. "You can be anything you want, baby. The world is yours to conquer." Junior smiled back, and for the first time in a long while, Enitan felt a sense of calm wash over her. Whatever the future held, they were ready to face it together. In the end, the court relied on the provision of Section 71 of the Matrimonial Causes Act, which states that the court's paramount consideration is the welfare of the child, which includes both physical well-being and moral upbringing. The court has discretion to grant custody to either parent or to make any arrangement it considers fit in the child's best interest. After weighing all factors carefully, prioritizing Junior's well-being above all else, and considering both Enitan's dedication as the primary caregiver and Michael's renewed interest in joint custody, the judge reached a decision that aimed to serve Junior's best interest. The court granted primary custody to Enitan, recognizing her stable role in Junior's life and the consistency she had provided over the years. Michael, however, was awarded expanded visitation rights with conditions, allowing him more regular access to Junior, but with specific guidelines to ensure Junior's stability and emotional security. Judge Abubakar emphasized that while Michael had a right to be involved in his son's life, it was essential to do so responsibly, without disrupting Junior's routine. Michael was given certain days, weekends, and occasional holidays for visitation, with the understanding that any missed visit would need to be communicated promptly to avoid disappointment for Junior. The verdict brought a mix of relief and caution for Enitan. She knew this meant ongoing coordination with Michael, but she also hoped this arrangement might provide a healthier path forward for Junior. Michael, on his part, expressed gratitude for the opportunity to rebuild his relationship with his son, pledging to honor the court's conditions. Ultimately, the court's decision offered a balanced resolution, granting Junior the benefit of both parents' presence while preserving the stability Enitan had worked so hard to provide. Case analysis. Legal lessons. 1. Custody decisions prioritize the child's welfare. Judge Abubakar's ruling reflects the legal principle that child custody decisions are always made with the child's welfare as the highest priority. Courts may grant joint custody or expanded visitation if it aligns with the child's emotional and developmental needs, ensuring that custody arrangements are fair and beneficial. 2. Rights and responsibilities of parents post-divorce. The story highlights that both parents retain responsibilities toward their child, even after divorce. Michael's expanded visitation rights come with obligations, showing that the legal system requires parents to stay committed to their children, regardless of the parents' own relationship challenges. 3. The role of the court in enforcing custody agreements. By setting clear conditions on Michael's visitation rights, the court enforces a structure that protects Junior's emotional stability. This demonstrates the legal system's role in creating guidelines that help maintain order and provide stability for children in custody arrangements. 4. Legal recourse for disputes and enforcement. If one parent repeatedly fails to honor court-ordered visitation or custody arrangements, the other parent has legal recourse to seek enforcement or modifications. This aspect highlights how the law provides mechanisms to ensure that parental responsibilities are upheld. Moral lessons. 1. Responsibility to family. Michael's initial neglect shows the moral responsibility parents have toward their family. Balancing career and family life is essential. Neglecting family bonds can lead to pain and broken relationships. Children thrive best when both parents are present and involved in a stable and nurturing environment. 2. Putting children's needs first. Both Michael and Enitan's journey highlights the moral duty to prioritize children's emotional and physical well-being. Their custody battle emphasizes that adult disagreements should never overshadow the child's needs, as children are most affected by instability and conflict. 3. Making amends and seeking redemption. Michael's efforts to reconnect with Junior reflect the moral value of making amends. This story demonstrates that, while past mistakes cannot be erased, sincere efforts to rebuild relationships can bring positive change and healing. 4. Mutual respect in co-parenting. For the sake of Junior, both Michael and Enitan eventually had to find a way to work together respectfully. This cooperation is a moral obligation parents owe their children, as a foundation of mutual respect between co-parents helps create a healthy environment for a child's growth. 5. Honoring commitments and consistency. The court conditions on visitation remind parents that moral integrity requires honoring commitments, especially to children. Consistency in fulfilling promises builds trust, teaching children the importance of reliability and accountability. 6. Forgiveness and moving forward. Enitan's acceptance of Michael's renewed role in Junior's life reflects forgiveness, a moral strength that helps individuals heal and move forward. By allowing Michael back into Junior's life, she demonstrates that forgiveness can help children benefit from the presence of both parents, even if the marriage itself didn't work out. These legal and moral lessons together provide a balanced understanding of how law and ethics come into play in family matters, emphasizing that legal decisions often align with moral responsibilities to ensure the well-being of all involved, particularly children. Thank you for watching Legal Guide TV Stories, where we bring real-life legal issues to life. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. See you in the next episode.